Classroom under classwork right at the top, you'll see cumulative review quiz 2. Those are the review questions. We'll start tomorrow, but if anybody wants to get a hold of them early, it's up to, well, not tomorrow, excuse me, we got the test tomorrow. It will be on Thursday, Friday, we review in class. Okay, so you guys know where it is. Over the weekend, I'll turn on the answers so you can see if you got them right or wrong as soon as you answer them. All right, so I'll turn that on during the weekend. But Monday is your cumulative review, so I just want to keep you reminded of that. Remember, again, it's going to be 20 questions. You are required to answer 15 of them. Anything more than 15 you get correct, it's a bonus point. All right, so technically it's out of 30, but you could get more. All right, all good? Also under classwork, just so you don't have to copy anything down for you, under similarity, you guys will see similarity test topics. That's what I'm about to go over right now. You know, whatever you want to jot down as far as note, that's your call. Okay, that's your call, because I'm going to go over this pretty thoroughly here. So let's start talking about tomorrow. As you can see here, 46 points. I'm going to come strong. And the reason I decided to come strong was because some of you guys decided not to come strong on the quiz we held last week. All right, so now we're going to get after it and see who's going to be in or out. Here we go. Given similar triangles, can you guys set up your own proportion and solve? So can you match up sides, and can you set up a proportion, cross multiply, and solve? All right, that'll be on there. Mid segments, let's go over that real quick. That was Friday's topic that we finished in class and finished the notes. Two things about, well, mid segment first. Let me draw a diagram. It's easier to refer to a diagram. Mid segment connects what? Got to connect what? Just can't be any rando line. Here, these points have to be what? Midpoints. They have to be midpoints. So let me put those markings on. All right, they have to be midpoints. So let me name this triangle ABC, name it midpoint D and midpoint E. All right, tell me something. What do you know about DE then? It's called the mid segment, I know, but what do we know about it? Going from Friday, what do I know about DE? Romeo. Half of the third side. What's its third side here? AC. So it's half of AC, the length. Mid segment is half its length. And also, what else should I know about DE and AC? This was the second fact from Friday. A mid segment is, look back if we need to. Here we go. I'm not just going to be doing the work here for you. Look back. I'm coming strong tomorrow. Ready or not. Mid segment, half the length of the third side. And what else do I know about it here? 13? Parallel to it. Good. Parallel to the third side. Questions? All right. 3 ways to prove triangle similar. What do you got for me? Here we go. 1 way to prove triangle similar. One. Side. What do I know about the sides? Not that they're congruent, but same ratio. They're in the same ratio, all 3 sides. There's no way number 1. Way number 2. 21. Side, angle, side. Same thing. Sides are in the same ratio. Angle in between is congruent. And then the main way, especially if we're doing a proof tomorrow, which we will, 5. Nope. 10. Angle. Angle. There will be both tomorrow. You will have a question to factor, and you will have a question to use quadratic formula. I'm guaranteeing it. You will have a question to factor and use quadratic formula. We're going to review a little bit of that today. Hopefully some of you review a little bit more than you did for the quiz, just saying. Some of you guys did a tremendous job. Some of you guys, like I said, it was about 50-50. All right, there's going to be 1 proof on there. I'm not going to kill you guys. It is going to be tougher than your quiz one. I don't know what you thought about your quiz one, but it is going to be tougher than your quiz. And remember, hey, the quiz stopped at CSSTP. We went on after the quiz to product of the means equals product of the extremes, which you could probably bet that's going to be the proof tomorrow. Means and extremes. So let's remember the 3-step process to get there. First, you need to prove your triangle similar by angle. After that, you create your proportion by CSSTP. Then you say the means and extremes are equal. Product of the means equals product of the extremes. In that order. In that order. You can't have the proportions equal by product of the means equals product of the extremes. It's CSSTP. And finally, if two triangles are similar, I would probably know 3 facts. If I give you at the beginning of the problem, hey, these two triangles are similar, what do you know about the angles? Congruent. Corresponding angles congruent. Corresponding sides, not congruent, but in proportion. And finally, side ratio is the same as what other ratio? Perimeter ratio. There we go. Hot, coming strong, whatever word you'd like to put in there tomorrow. And you, because of the length of the test, you are going to get it as soon as you walk in tomorrow. So I'm going to be here after school for any questions that you have, but I want to get you mentally ready for tomorrow that it is going to come strong, this one. You got factoring, you got quadratic formula, you got a good proof that's a little bit tougher than the one on the quiz. Before we start reviewing together, any of these you want to go over? Anything? Zach, go ahead. What's up?
Is the quadratic formula being provided?
Oh, absolutely. I told you that at the very beginning, and that is going to hold true until tomorrow. I will provide it for you, correct? But got to know how to use it, right? Got to know how to use it. Anything from you guys? Questions before we get rolling? I'm going to hop right into the fire. Packets out. Go to the review section of your packet if you're not there already. Some of you guys started this on Friday. Answers are up on Classroom. Do not forget about the textbook problems I'm suggesting at the top. Okay? Every answer is on Classroom. All right, I'm going to start with number 3 today. All right, I'm going to start with number 3. I know maybe some of you guys got to it, maybe you didn't. But let's start with number 3. Go ahead and label your sides. If you got to it, good. DE5, perimeter is 30. What's the perimeter of that small one? Calculators out. All right, it's a perimeter question, so I know the ratio of the sides equals the ratio of the perimeters. First thing I'm going to need from somebody is give me the ratio of 2 corresponding sides. All right, what's the 12 match up with in the small triangle? Is it the 7? Is it the 5? And we're not guessing. We are not guessing. We will use the similarity statement up above. And 12 is side AC, A to C. So that should correspond with what on the other triangle? Side AC and side 2. Side AC and, I think I would know that by now. 22?
DC.
Side AC and side DC, which is 7. So the 12 and the 7 match up. So that's the same ratio their perimeters are in. So I look, big triangle that's got a side of 12, perimeter's 30. 7, that's the perimeter I'm looking for. Everyone all right? Side ratio equals perimeter ratio. And we okay on why I know the 12 and the 7 match up? So go ahead, cross multiply, 12x equals 210. Divide both sides by 12. Perimeter of the smaller one ends up being 7.5, 17.5, sorry. Any questions? Going. Okay, next, I want to make sure I get to a quadratic formula and a factoring. Go to 5, everyone, 5. I don't think very few of you got there on Friday. Go to number 5. Solve the equation for x and leave it in simplest radical form. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, look at the directions. I'm already telling you what's going to have to be used in this problem. Simplest radical form. What do you think is going to end up being used? Quadratic formula. This ain't going to be a factoring one. Quadratic formula, simplest radical form. Well, you're lucky here, aren't you? You don't have to cross multiply. You don't have to multiply, FOIL. You don't have to set it equal to 0. It's done. It is done. So before I bust out the quadratic formula, which will be given to you, how about that A value? What is it? 2. B value. -5. C value. +1. All right, here's the quadratic formula for you. Given to you tomorrow as well. -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, do we know how to use it? Here we go. -b, what are you plugging in? +5. Plus or minus, you are not plugging in a darn thing yourself now. We get that number underneath the radical by storing A, B, and C in the calculator. So let's review that process again. A value is 2, so I hit 2, store button to the left. A, right above math, store it in for A. Enter. Keep it going now. B was -5. -5, store in for B. And then store in +1 for C. Store C. All right, now ask your calculator. B squared minus 4AC. B squared minus 4AC. Underneath the radical goes 17. 17. We're all good with the calc. 17. All over. What's in the denominator? 2a is in the denominator. 2a. What goes in the denominator? 2 times 2. 4. We all good so far before we keep moving on? Now you look at the radical. And you say to yourself, can I break down radical 17 into 2 radicals, one being a perfect square? Is there a perfect square that goes into 17? Anybody think of any?
No.
Okay, so that means radical 17 can't be broken down, which means that's simplified. You only keep going if the radical can be broken down, which it cannot be, so we are done. But I have a question for you. Most times this unit, we had to actually figure out both answers and reject one. What's missing from this problem that's usually here? Do we have any of these diagrams here? Is there a diagram at all? No. So what am I trying to tell you? There's no reason to reject any answer. There's no diagram. So you can't have negative sides then. Right? Negative sides is not possible if there's no diagram. So we're going to have to accept both answers. Okay? We're going to have to accept both answers. No diagram, automatic accept both answers. If there is a diagram, plug your answers back in and see if it makes one negative. We are right with quadratic formula before we get to a factoring one. Going? All right, let's get to a factoring one. Number 6. What I'd like you to do in your group right now, you know the triangles are similar. Come up with a good proportion now that matches up the sides. And stop right there. Good. Come up with a good proportion that matches up the sides, and we'll see if we all cross multiply the same things.
Yeah. Just add them.
Oh, yeah, you can.
All right. Make sure you might have a different proportion than me. That's fine. But hey, are we cross multiplying x and x minus 1? And are we cross multiplying 3 and 2x minus 2? Please remember, full sides only in your proportion. Full sides. BD, CE are not full sides. So make sure we're combining like terms, adding sides together to get a full side. All right, so here we go. X squared minus x equals 6x minus 6. Next move, what have we been doing this unit? I know I'm going to have to factor, but before I do, one side equal to 0. Keep your x squared positive. It is. Move everything else over. So when you move the 6x over, what happens to your middle term now? Minus 7x. Move the negative 6 over. What's your last term? Plus 6. Now, you can use quadratic formula on this. You can. That's okay. You can. Not going to say a word. But I am right now, though. On your test, I won't say a word. But right now, if we can find two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 7, we probably should in a class like this. And my two values would be minus 6 and minus 1. So I get two possible answers. X equals 6 and x equals 1. And I get it. Some of you guys probably don't even realize it. You don't see a negative answer, no big deal. Those are my two answers. You have to check both, though. Look, tell me what's wrong with one of those answers in that diagram. 6 and positive 1. What's the problem with one of those answers? There's a huge issue I have. When I plug one of them in, something's gonna happen that should. Zach, what happens?
1 minus 2 equals negative 1.
Yeah, if you do 1 minus 2 or 1 minus 4, you're going to get a negative side. Can't happen. So even though I get it, even though it's positive, it's still going to get rejected because it gave me a negative sideline. So that's gone. And if you check 6 is fine. Gives me positive answers all along. Be ready for both tomorrow, factoring and quadratic formula. It's going to happen. Just make sure you know when to reject and when not to reject. If there's no diagram, no need to reject. If there is, at least check both answers to make sure you don't give a negative sideline. And that is all I have for you guys. So you're either going to continue in the packet or go to grab a textbook or get your online textbook. You should at least have the answer key open right now on Classroom. All right? Have the answer key open. Call me over if there's concerns. Let's get it going. And remember, this is all on math here. Coming strong tomorrow.